We're learning about simplifying rational expressions today. I know I've got this when I can find the value of a rational expression given a replacement number, identify values for which a rational expression is undefined, simplify or write rational expressions in lowest terms, and write equivalent rational expressions in the form listed below. Our key vocabulary is rational expression, simplifying, and extraneous solution. So a rational expression is an expression with a variable in the denominator. An extraneous solution is a solution that looks like it works, but when you go back and plug it in, it does not. Rational expressions can be written in the form P over Q, where P and Q are both polynomials and Q does not equal 0. So there's some examples of rational expressions right there. So it can be written in the form of a fraction. Q is not 0. To evaluate a rational expression for a particular value, substitute the replacement value into the rational expression and simplify the result. Number 1 says evaluate the following expression for y equals -2. So I'm just going to plug -2 in for the y and evaluate. So I've got plus a -2, so I'd have -4 over -7. So a negative over a negative is a positive. So my answer would be 4 over 7. In the previous example, what would happen if we tried to evaluate the rational expression for y? So you can see if y equals 5, so you can see that if I plug a 5 in, I would get a 0 in the denominator. That means that that expression is undefined. Anytime 0 is underneath, it's undefined. 1b says evaluate the following expression for y equals 5. So I'm going to plug a 5 in for every y. And I get 25 over 2 for my answer. Now you try one. And you should have gotten -4 over 5. Now we're going to talk about undefined rational expressions. We have to be able to determine when a rational expression is undefined. A rational expression is undefined when the denominator is equal to 0. The numerator being equal to 0 is okay. The rational expression simply equals 0. Any solution that would make the denominator equal to 0 is called an extraneous solution. So an example of an extraneous solution: find any real numbers that would make the following rational expression undefined. So what you do is you take the denominator and set it equal to 0 and solve for x. So if we did that, x would equal -3. So -3 would be an extraneous solution. Simplifying a rational expression means writing it in lowest terms or in simplest form. To do this, we need to use the fundamental principle of rational expressions. Basically, simplify the rational expression. So to simplify the rational expression, completely factor the numerator and denominator and divide out any factors common to both. What we're going to do is we are going to factor both. So we learned about factoring in the last chapter. So I'm going to factor out the numerator and the denominator. So if I factor out x squared plus 3x minus 4, I know that's x times x. And what multiplies together to give me -4? That would add together to give me 3. We're going to do a +4 and a -1. Okay, if I factor the denominator, I get x and x. What are factors of -20? That would give me a -1, -5, and a +4. So when I simplify this, I can only simplify the binomials that are exactly the same. So my final answer would be x minus 1 over x minus 5. Two B says simplify the rational expression. Now I want you to see something. It's the same thing, just backwards, right? If I factor out a -1 on top, I can change that around, because if I distributed this, it would be -y and that would be a positive 7. So this is the same thing. So I can rewrite it like that. And when I do, if I simplify this, I can cross out my y minus 7, so my only answer is -1. Now I want you to try to do this one. And you should have just gotten 1 because it's the same thing on top of each other. All right, number 3 says simplify 48 minus 3x squared over x squared minus 3x minus 4. Now, the first thing that I want to do is I want to take that numerator and put it in standard form. So I'm going to write it -3x squared plus 48 over x squared minus 3x minus 4. Okay, now my common denominator in the numerator, I can factor out a -3, and I'm left with x squared minus 16. And then I'm just going to keep it over the same denominator for a second. I'm going to go down here. X squared minus 16 is a difference of squares, so I can write that x minus 4 and x plus 4. Okay, x squared minus 3x minus 4 would be x minus 4 times x plus 1. So now I'm going to simplify this. So x minus 4s would cancel out. And you get 3 times x plus 4 over x plus 1. To B, we have simplify x cubed plus 8 over 2 plus x. So to factor this, remember this is a sum of cubes. So I'm going to take the cube root of x cubed, the cube root of 8, and then in the second parentheses you do the x squared, and then the 2 squared, and then you multiply them together and change the sign. Over, I'm going to rearrange this to x plus 2 because 2 plus x and x plus 2 are the same thing. So when I cancel those out, I'm left with x squared minus 2x plus 4. And I can't do anything else with that. So that is my final answer. All right, 3C says you do. So if you go ahead and factor this one. And you should have gotten y plus 5 over y plus 6. Okay, here's some extra practice. Go ahead and try some of these, and then I'll give you the answers on the next slide. So all we are doing is we're factoring and then simplifying. That is how you simplify a rational expression. Okay, there are the answers that you need. So go ahead and check it and let me know if you get any wrong. So I know I've got this when I can find the value of a rational expression given a replacement number, identify values for which a rational expression is undefined, simplify or write rational expressions in lowest terms, and write equivalent rational expressions in the form of, and then the negative sign can go either in the numerator or the denominator. Do you really understand? How would you find the values of x for which a rational expression such as 2x over x squared minus 9 is defined? You would factor the denominator and then set both of those factors equal to 0 and solve. So if you did that, let's see, what values of x is the expression above undefined? Well, you set those equal to 0, and x would either equal -3 or +3. Explain how you would simplify a rational expression such as that. You would factor the numerator and the denominator, and then factor out the factors that are common to both.